talking about pregnant foster kids.
Only on Foster Life. The conversation starts now.
Foster Life today. Woo! It's been a miracle week. Usually these holiday weekends are supposed to be relaxing and stuff, and we have been busy. We had our Memorial Day Branson special that we did for Foster Life, and then what else did you do for the holiday weekend?
My dog Bodie and I went up to the dog park in Kansas City, and we swam and played with the ball and interacted with some other dogs and just had a really great time.
So you got some sun and stuff?
A lot of fun.
Yeah, we had kind of a wild weekend. We had a teenage problem at the beginning of the weekend, and then everybody was at the house yesterday, and we did jeeping and the creek, and everybody ate at the house, and it was so good to have all of my kids home, and that's always kind of a fun thing. But that's a lot of people. We have 10 kids, and then you start putting girlfriends into the mix and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And it makes for kind of a big party. So I'm a little bit recovering today. A little bit from the holiday. So still. But it seems to be a pretty good kickoff to the week. It's going to be a short week. So that's always good as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have a phone. We went mudding in the Jeep, and I guess it just slipped out of my pocket, and we don't have any doors on the Jeep or anything, and we have looked everywhere for my phone. So I have no phone, so I feel like I'm kind of out of sync a little bit because I don't have a million people calling me right now.
Isn't this like the third time in like 2 months that you've like lost or broken or misplaced your phone?
Yeah, well, it's either, you also remember that I have all these babies, and sometimes they like to play with my phone, and so we do that. Did you see the interesting news in Philadelphia?
I've heard about this.
Yeah, the Court of Appeals ruled last week that the Catholic diocese or the Catholic religion there cannot discriminate against LGBT families. Originally, I guess the Catholic diocese in Pennsylvania had wanted it so that they didn't have to place kids or license families that were same-sex families.
Yeah.
And the Court of Appeals said, you have to follow the same non-discrimination laws that every other agency has to follow out there.
Yep.
And I think if this keeps going, this is going to make some huge changes for foster care, because I know even locally we have some religious organizations that license and also place kids in homes, and they do not license same-sex couples. And so I think that could be a huge change for the foster care industry as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to really open a lot of doors and really like close off that ability to say, no, we're not going to license you because of this.
Right.
And I think that's a good thing.
The majority of kids that are placed in foster homes are in same-sex couple homes. Now they place a lot of kids in traditional homes as well. But if you look at the demographics and if you look at all the numbers nationwide, I think you would be surprised at how many kids are placed in same-sex couple homes, which makes sense because same-sex couples obviously can't have kids and they really want kids, and so that's kind of a natural thing. But I think that's going to really open some doors there as well.
Yeah, and I think historically, the church has said we're not going to place with them because it's not a traditional upbringing and it causes mental health issues. And some research has come out in the past few years that has kind of negated that. Like, it doesn't affect the growth and ability of child, so there's no reason to continue that.
Exactly. So we'll be keeping tabs on Philadelphia and Pennsylvania and see if this kind of flows over into other states. But it did go to a 3-judge panel at the Court of Appeals in Pennsylvania, and they did decide that if the Catholic denomination wants to continue to license and to place foster kids, in order to renew that contract, they would have to be able to do that in the LBGT homes as well as the traditional foster homes. When we come back, we're going to talk about pregnant teens in foster care.
Hey, I'm Jackson and I'm 12. Last night, my parents were arrested. I don't want to go to a foster home, and they can't find a foster home. I just want to be with my family. Why can't they understand my parents are good?
118,000 children and youth in America are waiting to be adopted.
With your $10 a month contribution, you can help Foster TV raise awareness to get more foster families and get these children adopted. Help us to get the conversation started. Many times in the foster care community, young women are brought into foster care, or while they're in foster care, they become pregnant or are pregnant when they are brought into foster care, which raises a lot of issues for the foster community. It is so important that we are able to provide good foster homes for these girls that are in care, and in doing so, we want to kind of discover today kind of what the most important things are in doing this. If you are a foster home or you are thinking about fostering and you think that this might be your niche to foster a girl that is pregnant, some of the things that we've talked about many times is you really have to have an open mind in doing this.
Yeah. No matter what's going on, you have to look at it from all points of view.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's our most pressing issue is it's their child and they have to make the decision for whatever's going to happen, whether they decide to keep the child, not keep the child, or give the child up for adoption. It's up to them.
Right. And even though being pregnant teenager is an unfortunate situation, it happens. And I think the way that we have to approach it is kind of the damage has been done.
Yeah,
there's nothing that we can do to change it, right?
Yeah.
And so I would guess that it's fairly important that you make this an exciting time and that you do all of the things necessary during this pregnancy to get them excited for this child.
Yeah, especially if they're going to choose to raise this child.
Mm-hmm.
You want to give them all the excitement in the world and help them build that, because the more excited they are and the more connected they feel to this pregnancy and to this little baby growing inside of them, the more likely they are to care for it in the end.
Right, so definitely you want to have a baby shower, a gender release party, all of those types of things to make it exciting. Decorate the nursery together.
Go to
and
sonogram appointments, go, figure out what that person wants to make it really exciting.
Right, and to kind of go with it. Also, as we're talking about pregnant teens, sometimes they have decisions that they have to make. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so how does that process kind of work? Does the mom have 100% decision-making capabilities, or what do we need to know?
If we're talking in regards to just the pregnancy, there are some legal things you have to work around regarding age and consent. about what's going to happen in the future. Those are all things that vary by state and by location that you're going to want to look up while that's going on.
Right. And I would say in working with youth and young people that I've worked with, it's important, even if we disagree with the decision that they're making, that we somehow try to find it within ourselves to be supportive. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. That's going to be the number one key thing you can do is support whatever choice they make, because ultimately it is their choice and you have to be there to back them up. They need somebody, they have no one else, and you're in their home and that's what you're for.
I think too, knowing the after. So if they're putting the child up for adoption, I'm sure that that's very hard to turn that child over to the other family, and kind of knowing how you're going to approach that. If they're keeping the baby, I would guess you kind of have to have a plan in place. Are you going to have the mom and the baby in your home, and where's their space going to be? Is that true?
Yeah, and it's always preferable that mom and baby stay together. And so you as the foster parent are there to guide them in that parenting role. They didn't necessarily have the best guidance from their parents, which is why they came into care. And so the thing that your number one goal is going to be is making sure that they're learning all of the things that need to be, whether that's if they're going to breastfeed or bottle feed, if that's, you know, getting up in the middle of the night and changing this child. That's their responsibility, and you're there to help guide them into parenting roles.
Right. Cool. I think it is amazing, families that look for the opportunity to have girls come into their home that are expecting. And I think that the mentoring that we do and our, my mom always said your actions speak louder to your words. Your actions are going to speak louder than your words in this situation. And I think that there are people out there that can do this. We'll talk more after this on Foster Life.
It's Courtney from Foster Life. You see me every week, but what you don't know about me is that I have a million passions, but I'm specifically passionate about foster care policy, foster care kiddos, and really helping organizations that do other things for foster care kids. But we can't do that without you. We can't do anything without you, the viewers, and the people who work with us every day to keep kids safe and happy. Here at Foster TV, we're working with organizations to provide school supplies and duffel bags for kiddos so they don't go to new homes with garbage bags, wheelchairs for kids who need it, and things that you as foster parents know that Medicaid and other services don't provide. Braces for teeth and for other things. We are trying to do everything we can to make life easier and happier for these kids. Your donation to Foster TV will allow us to be able to turn 100% of our profit from you into those organizations and to help other kiddos who need it. So Rob, you know, we're talking about making these pregnancies a really exciting thing. I think that we also need to remember that kids in our homes, they really need to chronicleize their lives.
Right.
And so that's one of the reasons that we put such an emphasis on these life books.
Oh, life books, yeah.
Yeah, and I heard this really great thing today. So there's a few different ways to do life books. Some people like to scrapbook.
Okay, so tell us what a life book is for those that are new to the fostering world.
So when a child comes into your home, that's when you're going to start their life book. You're going to put as much in there that you know about the child. Good, bad, pretty, ugly, whatever it is.
Okay, cool.
Put it in there. It's important for them to own their story.
Right.
And this is their story.
Okay.
So if they're older, they can even help you, like put in when they were born, the traumatic things that have happened to them,
right,
why they came into care, and then you're just gonna put everything you can into this life book. Photographs, pictures of them with their friends, with the family, any awards they might get at school, if they've done something really cool and they've gotten a medal for it.
If they went to a Kansas City Royals game while they were in care, put those tickets in there. We love the Kansas City Royals.
Anything you want to put in there, everything you can put in there. So there's a few different ways to do that. You can scrapbook, which
Okay.
I know a lot of people out there are scrapbookers, and it's super fun to get your kids involved in cutting the pictures and pasting them in and choosing what you're going to put in there.
Right.
There's an app called Groove Book, costs about $5 a month,
Group book.
and this is strictly for photographs. They're perforated. You get to put 100 in a month.
Okay.
And they send you it bound, perforated, and then you just mark the month and the year, and you can stack them or lay them on a coffee table, whichever you want to do. I use it personally and I love it.
Okay.
And then I just heard today that on Etsy,
Etsy?
E-T-S-Y.
E-T-S-Y.
Yeah, and for those crafters out there, they know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You can get lots of fun things there that are homemade. And you can buy on Etsy a pre-made printable template for life books. So it gives you all the spots, all the important things that need to be done, and then you can just download it on your computer, and then each child that you have come into your home, you can start a new one.
Yep.
And you can put pictures right into the template, and then just print it off when they go home, or print it off when whatever happens. When they move out, or if they move out on their own, you can do it that way.
My little Islander boy, when he came to us, he had a life book, and he was super cute anyway, but he would go through that life book like every morning before school. He would look at it when he was mad, he'd look at it when he was happy, he'd look at it when he was bored, but that life book meant the world to him. It was like something that he could hold on to, and I really didn't maybe realize the importance of a life book until we had our little Islander boy in the house, and he was really attached to that.
It's so important because, on average, kids in care move quite often.
Right.
And so if they're taking this book with them everywhere, they're getting a little bit of memory, but sometimes it's their one possession where it's got pictures of mom and dad, it's got pictures of all their foster families, any siblings, they might have everything.
I remember when my grandpa died when I was 18, like having fear that I would forget him. And I think that maybe kids have that fear, and so a life book kind of ensures them that they're going to remember those really cool moments that they don't want to forget, or that they fear that they're going to forget.
Yeah, and the other thing to remember about that is it is a licensing competency as a foster parent to maintain that life book. Your licensing worker will probably ask to see it on their quarterly or monthly or whatever they come out in your state and area to do their visit. They're going to want to see that life book. So these are just great options to be able to keep those memories and stay within your competency.
Because we obviously own a television network, we do all of ours electronically, but we have really created some beautiful TV shows of our kids' history and their time together. And so you can be really open in doing that. And Apple has amazing tools that you can use through your Apple store to create those life books electronically as well.
Yeah, so just get in there and have fun and let your kids help out and, send them along with something great.
When we come back today, Wednesday, we're going to be wrapping up today on foster. Other than working at Foster TV, I'm a dad. I'm a dad to 10 very complicated kids that come from very complicated backgrounds. They're so complex, and each one of my children came from foster care. I have learned so much. I thought that it was a clad-proof system. I thought that everything just ran smoothly. But I'm here to tell you that it's a broke system. And the only way that we can fix these for these young people, for these leaders, these kids that are our future, is to spread the word, give education, help the system, and advocate daily for these kids. There's 439,000 kids in care in America. Today, as you're thinking about doing a partnership or a sponsorship, I don't want you to say yes to me, and I definitely don't want you to say yes to Foster TV. I want you to say yes to Jesse in New York, a foster kid who's in the ICU, whose foster parents have put everything on hold and are there with him as he passes from this life into the next life. I want you to say yes to my friend Tim in Arizona, whose Medicaid won't cover a new wheelchair, but he's outgrown the wheelchair that he's in, and he needs a new one. I want you to say yes to little Amanda in California, who is fighting for her life in the NICU because she is born addicted to meth, and hopefully soon will go to a foster home. I want you to say yes to Dylan in Colorado, who last night his home was raided because their family was cooking meth and he has no place to go. I want you to say yes to Carrie. You know, Carrie has a unique story, but her family was killed in a car accident and has no place to go. No other family, no aunts, no uncles, no grandparents, and is now in state's custody in foster care. The only way that we can get out there and to support these people in need during a very difficult time in their life is with your contribution. We're not looking to get paid huge salaries and live in fancy houses and go in limousines to big parties. That's not why we do what we do. We do what we do because in our hearts, we love these children and we believe in them. And every single person that you see on Foster TV, on the set or behind the set, is doing this for the kids in care. So I'm asking you today, please say yes to Foster TV, and we promise you that we will do our very best in helping these kids in care. Till next time, thank you. Today. It's been a good conversation today, and I like talking about things. One, anytime we have a story where we see major changes being in foster care that I feel personally are positive, there might be some people out there that don't feel like the changes that Pennsylvania is making are positive, and that's okay too. We can always agree to disagree here at Foster Life, and we're just basically starting the conversation. But if you've ever met a young girl that's pregnant, I'm thinking of one that I know in Colorado, and she actually had twins and another one before she was 20 years old, so 3. That was a scary time for her. And I think we need really good mentors out there and really good families that are willing to get around these young women and not only mentor them, but kind of support them, because I can't imagine how scary that might be. The pain alone, because I watch movies, if I were a girl, that would just scare me right there. Just the whole having the baby would probably give me an anxiety attack, for sure. But then everything that comes along with that, and babies are a big deal. We have a baby home. Right now, I have 5 under the age of 6. They're a lot of work, and they take a lot of time. And I've even had to be, at 40 years old, kind of mentored. And, you know, when we had that first baby, I would blow up my nurse friends' phones and my mom's, family's phones. And anybody that had a kid, I was like, hey, what do I do? You know, so I can't imagine what that would be like for a young girl.
Especially if you don't have anybody to help them out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And life books are always a good thing to have when you're working with kids. And I think it is important. Whether you're adopting them or not, you want them to remember your family, even if they're going to be adopted by another family, and you want them to remember that time in your life. And you never know. You might have made such a difference in their life, and just by having that life book, that's going to help them to reconnect with you in later years. And it just shows that you did really care for them, because they know that you care for them, but when they look at those books later, they're going to think, wow, this person really put some time invested in me. And I think that that's always important. So you remember when Oprah's did, you got a car, you win a car, you got a car, you got a car, you got a car? Well, I guess through our new partnerships and sponsors, we're going to be giving a crap load of stuff away. And Ellen says it best, if you want viewers on your show, give the crap away. So we're going to be giving crap away. And we're going to be doing some big things. I know that our new sales and marketing manager, Cindy, has been out there, and she's been just had a bunch of ideas of things that could happen. And all you have to do to win, you don't have to be involved with foster or foster care or be a foster kid or a foster family. If you look, like, and follow our Facebook page, and then there will be some other things that you have to do, like share and comment, and just depending on what we're giving away, then you could be eligible to win these gifts. And on Tuesday, yesterday, we just gave away 2 Kansas City Royals tickets when we did a live after the end of our show. And so there's going to be other things. We've talked about televisions. I know that she wants to work with a car dealership and giving a car away for a foster family, for a foster kid. So there's lots of different things that we want to be able to give away this year. And that just helps us, one, you kind of reap the benefits of getting things, but on the other hand, it kind of builds our viewer base and gets people to know about Foster TV, Foster Life, and all the things that we have to offer to hopefully connect with more foster families and foster kids, and who knows, even recruit foster families as well. It's been wonderful to be with you. I'm glad that you have spent this half hour with us, and we will be back on Friday, only on Foster TV. Afterlife is a HEDFRA production, only on Foster TV.